Coverkiller Nation! It's time for the first official album review of this channel, that's right, and it's going to be a 2010 release. It's going to be one that is going to be released. Whew, man. The official release date that they have on Metal Storm is for the 28th, which is, of course, I believe today. No, tomorrow, in fact. Friday, but, of course, considering most places here in America get them on Tuesday, you're going to see it probably next Tuesday, perhaps a couple weeks down the line, as the Obsidian Conspiracy. This is the long-awaited follow-up to this Godless Endeavor by the band Nevermore. Now, Nevermore's last album came out in 2005. As I said before, it was entitled This Godless Endeavor. It was an epic album. It was one of the top 5 for my album of the year that year, which means that this one, really, whenever it comes out, it's going to have a lot to really live up to, especially considering it's been 5 years since we've seen Nevermore. Now, of course, in that time frame, we've seen Jeff Loomis and World Dane both do their own solo works, which were both kind of okay, but the way that I saw it was World Dane's was kind of like Nevermore would sound like without Jeff Loomis, and it was kind of and Jeff Loomis's was kind of like, well, where's World? It just... The two are really meant to be together, in my personal opinion, and Nevermore is certainly the place where it's supposed to be. Now, a little bit of history for you guys. Of course, World Dane got his start in the band Sanctuary, and you can definitely see a lot of parallels between his stuff with Nevermore, as well as the stuff with Sanctuary. So he's been in this business now for quite some time, more than 20 years since Sanctuary released albums such as Into the Mirror, Black, and the like. Now, the Obsidian Conspiracy is a very solid album. It really contains a lot of elements that you hear in albums such as this Godless Endeavor. You still hear the hooks. You still hear the addicting little parts. World Dane's voice still soars, and it still plummels down to the very depths of his register. So it still is able to maintain that vocal prowess. Now, the funny thing is a lot of people have told me I can't get into Nevermore because of the voice. I love the music, but the voice, blah, blah, blah. Look, World Dane is a fantastic vocalist. He has a lot of strengths. And those strengths really should not become weaknesses because he's able to show a very high register and a high vocal prowess, and then also sing deep. He's a very talented singer live. The first time I saw him, he was kind of drunk, so it was kind of subpar, but whenever he's sober, whenever he's alright, this band kicks absolute ass live. Now, this is a 10-track affair, clocks in at just under 45 minutes long at 44:41. Here are some of the song titles. In fact, I'll just give you all 10 of them. We have the Termination Proclamation, which starts it off. It's a quick little opener. Has that nice, bold statement. This is the Termination Proclamation. Your Poison Throne is track number 2. This is where the hooks start coming into play a little bit more, and then Moonrise through Mirrors of Death. This is a great song, the first real single I could hear off of this album. Really love this track. I've been playing it over and over again today. And The Maiden Spoke is track number 4, the first real lengthy track on the album. By lengthy, this is a couple seconds away from 5 minutes. You're not going to see an 8-minute-long epic or a 7-minute-long epic like you did on this Godless Endeavor, and that is something that I'm kind of a little disappointed about, but it's a good track in its own right. Emptiness Unobstructed is track 5. The Blue Marble and the New Soul is track number 6. This is the first of 2 real slower songs where they really change the pace up a little bit. They kind of take it easy a little bit. Without Morals is track number 7. The Day You Built the Wall, track number 8. She Comes in Colors. This is a very downtrodden, depressing, really slower track. Very good song. It's also the longest on the album at 5:31. And then the title track, The Obsidian Conspiracy, finishes it up at number 10. Now, what do I think about this album as a whole? I've gotten to listen to it for about a week now, and you know what? I have to say it. I have to play devil's advocate here. You know, you're following up a great album such as this Godless Endeavor, you kind of have to look at both of them as separate entities. It's the right way to do it. It's the correct way to do it, because if you kind of try to draw too many parallels and say, you know, this really doesn't size up, you really fall into the trap of ignoring the Obsidian Conspiracy as its own body of work. Kind of like what happened to me whenever I listened to The Great Misdirect by Between the Buried and Me, after listening to a superb album in Colors by Between the Buried and Me. Now, for what it is, the Obsidian Conspiracy is a very strong album. It does contain many of the classic Nevermore elements, and it is very well done. Now, here's the little slight issue that I have with it. It does have enough of a dynamisy where I can't say that it kind of gets a little bit cold, a little bit, you know, overdone, where it really becomes a little bit monotonous. It does have enough dynamisy where that doesn't really happen. But one thing that I do kind of notice with this album is that with the Godless Endeavor, they really took a lot of ideas and molded it together. They really explored a lot of territory. And I just really think that for the 5-year period that they had here between albums, that maybe they would have done a little bit more. Is it really that big of a deterrent? Is this something that's really going to bring down its score very mightily? No, it really is not. This is a very strong release, and it has a lot of promising elements to it. This is an album where if you don't like it the first time around, just keep listening to it, because it's definitely going to grow on you. It definitely gets stuck into your head to the point where you have to listen again and again. But I just really think that whenever you consider some of the classics of their catalog, whenever you listen to Dreaming Neon Black, Dead Heart in a Dead World, and this Godless Endeavor, you really see a little bit more. And I think that this album lacks it a little bit. Now, a lot of people like the album Enemies of Reality, surprisingly, and that's one album of theirs that I really couldn't get into very much. And it's almost for the same reason. I just really felt like it was really not mixed very well. In fact, the very first edition of it was mixed so poorly that they had to remix it and re-release it with Andy Sneap, I do believe, who's a legend in the production game for heavy metal. But with this album, it's very meticulously and very well produced. The sound is perfect, so there's no problem with anything there. It just seems to me like perhaps it's just not nearly... plain and simple, if you size this up with the rest of the catalog, the Obsidian Conspiracy is certainly up there, but it's just not as good as some of their legendary albums, such as this Godless Endeavor and Dreaming Neon Black. Could just be me. But this album is a solid 8 out of 10. So, I mean, this is one that may threaten to make the bottom part of the list, but it's not going to be like this Godless Endeavor, where it's really going to be right up there near the top of the album of the year 2010. And I'm not going to call this or label this as a disappointment, because this is a great album. I still love listening to it. It may ascend the ranks by the time December 31st has come and gone of this year, but we'll see. I'm just going to leave you guys with one final note, actually, and that is the fact that something really cool happened this past week, and that's Exodus, the Atrocity Exhibition Exhibit B, actually hit number 17 on the top 20 list at FYE at the stores. Amazing. It was an incredible day for metal whenever I put it out there. I put it out with pride. Great job. Bravo to everybody. I know I told you guys go out there and pick it up at an FYE. Get this album a lot of exposure. It seems like you guys really listen. Number 17. One small step for metal, one giant leap for mankind. Thank you guys. It's good to be back. Nevermore, the Obsidian Conspiracy is coming out. Be sure to pick it up, guys. Solid 8 out of 10 album. I'll talk to you guys next time.